So what I mean with dealing with input is day to day as an entrepreneur, we have different things that come into our inbox, come into our calendar, come into our just vicinity of attention. Hey there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now my goal set in this video is to walk you through how to plan your day with your virtual assistant as an entrepreneur. If this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lai Lacaba. I've been working from home since I was 15 years old and now run my own virtual assistant company here in the Philippines. And I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home. So make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now when it comes to planning your day as an entrepreneur, it can be really essential to make sure that you're working on the right things at the end of the day. It's also making sure that you don't get too bombarded, you don't get overwhelmed, and with a virtual assistant it becomes even an easier task because you have someone who can help you filter the things that come through your input. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through step by step what that process could look like and how to work best with your virtual assistant. Now, the first phase of this, or the first part of this, is what I call dealing with input or filling your bucket. So what I mean with dealing with input is day to day as an entrepreneur, we have different things that come into our inbox, come into our calendar, come into our just vicinity of attention. So it's really important that the first thing that you do as you're planning out your day is you deal with all of that input and then putting it in your bucket. Now the term bucket or capture, it comes from the book Getting Things Done, which I based a lot of my own productivity in, just because it's a really good book to follow step by step. And what I mean with dealing with your input is going through 4 different places where you can put things into your bucket. Now a bucket is just a place that you drop things into, that you capture different things that come across your vicinity of attention, so then you're able to sort them out later. So these 4, the first one is your email. Now, as you're working with your virtual assistant, this can be something that they've already pre-filtered for you. They could have already archived like newsletters that you don't have to read. They could have already responded to some of them, even made a draft for you to go through and send out later, or they could have just cleaned this out already for you as you start going through your day. So the first thing is your email. If it can be responded within 2 minutes or less, just respond to it right away. And if not, then you add it to your bucket. The second place that you probably will have inputs from is your chats. So you could have different chats, Slack channels maybe, or Google Chat, or WhatsApp, or a lot of different places where you need to respond to. And again, this could be something that if you gave your assistant access to, that they can filter things already for you and put things into your bucket already of chats you might have missed, during the weekend or while you were asleep, and then making sure that you make a note to respond to them one by one. The third place for your input is going to be any notes that you had from yesterday or the day before that or the week before that. So it's making sure that you clear out any meeting notes that you might have had, any other ideas you might have had, and then again, putting that into that bucket. And finally, your calendars, looking at your schedule for the day. This way, you are aware of what your calendar looks like for the day and you can plan things throughout that, the time slots that you might not have meetings. Once you've dealt with your input, you have this bucket of things that you have to be either get done today, you have to respond to. Next is you want to make sure that you start sorting through that bucket. So sorting through the bucket, usually it goes through 3 different things. First one is that it's a to-do for your projects. It's actually something that's going to be an update for the project that you're working on. It could be a new task that you're adding into or something to follow up. So you're adding into that bucket. Second part is it could be just notes. Again, if it's something that you're trying to learn right now or it's an idea for later on, you just put it into your notes box. Last one is just miscellaneous. If it could be something that's more personal to your life, that's another bucket for you. That's something to sort out later on. You have cleaned out your main primary input and then you've already have it already organized. Once you've done that is you want to go ahead and create your to-do list for the day. Now, I'm very much a big fan of to-do lists. It just keeps me top of mind of what I'm supposed to be doing day to day. For me, one of the first things that I'll do is go through my pending tasks. What are things that are from last week, from yesterday that I wasn't able to get to or get done? So I make sure that that's on the top of my list because that means it's already maybe past its deadline already. The next thing that I'll go through as I create my to-do list is looking at my priority projects or sprints. So for me, this is just my own system, is apart from projects, I have sprints. Sprints are things that doesn't necessarily have to be a project that can be done within 1 to 2 weeks. They're not, again, necessarily this big whole file of thing to do. They are something, again, I can just look at like, oh, this is supposed to be done. I only need 2-3 tasks from this, and that's what I look at. I look at my priority sprint as priority projects and start grabbing different tasks that I know that needs to get done for that day. Next is I make sure that I block out the time for when I want to do work. This is one of the essential things that I really learned as an entrepreneur, especially as I have days where I have like 5 or 10 meetings in a day. Sometimes I just have the one meeting. So it's making sure that I block out when I want to work on different priorities. Sometimes I'll do this by project. So I'll do this, this group of tasks per project. Sometimes I'll do it by theme, if it's just like a theme or a sprint that I'm trying to do. I'm making sure that I already schedule out when I want to do things, because there's something called the Parkinson's law, where your task that you put in there will always fill up that time. Let's say I've slotted out I'm going to record a YouTube video for one whole day. It usually doesn't take me one whole day to record a YouTube video. It usually takes me about 30 minutes. But if I say, hey, I'm going to take this whole day to record a YouTube video, it will take me a whole day to put out that YouTube video. So that's why it's really important that I do a little bit of time blocking of scheduling out when I want to do certain tasks or projects, so I fill up that time for that, and I don't have to think of like what is the next thing that I'm supposed to be doing, because it's already blocked out. The next phase of this is now just really working with your virtual assistant. One of the things that I would do with my assistant is that I would block out just an hour of working, of what I call just co-working. So people have called it different ways, different clients that I've advised this to, but it's essentially just having 1 hour where you guys are having a virtual meeting. If your assistant is working on a different time zone, you do have to sort this out, but what we do is basically just on Zoom, just kind of share screen on my end what I'm going to be working through as I'm going through my first block. That way, I'm able to do project updates during that 1 hour block of like, hey, these are where all of our projects are at. Where are you at? Basically talking to my assistant and asking them for the updates per project, going through team updates as well. If you have a team that you are growing, making sure that you are looking through the people that you're managing. And it's also a really good opportunity to create documentation. So as you are explaining your work or what you're doing to your assistant, they can start creating documentation of how you are doing it. So then it can be something repeated on later on. It becomes a checklist for them to go through to make sure that you're doing the same thing over and over again to create the same result. And finally, it's a really good time to just start delegating tasks. A lot of the time, it's really tempting for us to do everything, which is why we need an assistant. So having that block of time where you're working with your assistant closely for about an hour is a great time for you. Like, hey, can you make sure this gets done? Can you make sure you follow up with me on this later? Can you make sure that you schedule this meeting with this person? So it's a quick and easy way for your brain to know that this is the time to give tasks to your assistant. It's really good that you're exercising that muscle, so you're not doing things on your own, especially now that you have that support. And then finally, at the end of your day, as you've planned things out, as fires have been put out, as things have popped up, you can now review your day of how it went. What are things that you were able to get done, and what are things that are going to be for tomorrow? Wrapping up any meeting notes that you might have created and making sure that you send that to the appropriate people, whether that's your virtual assistant going to sort them out and send to the relevant parties, or it's just something for future notes. And of course, just doing a chat sync with your assistant. It's usually just enough to just have one call a day where you guys do the co-working. Again, it doesn't have to be an everyday thing. Could just be when you're doing a big push for a project, and then just doing that chat sync at the end of the day. You guys are both on the same page and you guys are working on the right things. Now, if you guys do need further help on this, I do have a whole video on how your virtual assistant can plan their day, which you guys can check out in my YouTube channel, and also created actually a pretty cool planner for your virtual assistant to go through daily, so then it both makes sense that you guys have the same system. Now, of course, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there and comment below what are the ways that you plan your day with your virtual assistant. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to run business from home, which you guys can check out those 2 playlists right here and the latest video right here. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!